You stand up. Before your second step, your cat moves into your exact seat. Not nearby, the exact spot. Sometimes they begin shifting before you're fully upright. When you return, they don't always move. It looks like warmth. It isn't just that. The timing and precision point to something else. Your cat is responding to your presence in that space, not just the cushion. Location carries information, and what they do when you come back follows the same logic. Some cats hold position, others adjust. The difference reflects how they read your movement and stability. When that pattern changes, when they stop taking your spot, it signals a shift in how they evaluate that space. In this video, you'll see what your cat is mapping when they take your seat, and how your response shapes whether that pattern continues or fades. It starts with a small shift. Number 1, they move in before you're fully gone. You shift forward and begin to stand. Before your weight fully leaves the seat, your cat is already moving. From a nearby spot, they close the distance in a few quick steps. Sometimes they were watching the entire time, head slightly raised, eyes tracking you, body ready. They circle once, lower themselves, and settle into the exact place you just left. They move before you're gone. It can look like simple opportunism, a warm spot becoming available. But the timing shows otherwise. They aren't reacting after you leave, they're moving as you leave. The attention was already fixed on your position. This is anticipatory tracking. Cats are highly sensitive to heat and scent, especially in recently occupied spaces. When you stand, both peek briefly. That overlap draws them in immediately. But comfort isn't the whole story. They're tracking a presence that just shifted. They follow the point you occupied, not replacing you, following you. If this happens often, stand more gradually. Predictable movement makes the transition easier without triggering the rush to fill the space. Number 2, they stay when you come back. You walk back toward your seat, slow slightly, and stop near it, and your cat doesn't move. They stay where they are. The head turns toward you, eyes open but relaxed, ears neutral. The body stays loose, maybe a small paw adjustment or weight shift, but no effort to get up. They hold the space. Sometimes they blink once, then settle again. Sometimes they just watch. It can look like hesitation or defiance, but there's no tension in the body, no stiffness, no defensive posture, no urgency. They aren't preparing for conflict. They're waiting to see how you move next. Cats manage shared space through positioning, not confrontation. When the environment feels secure, they don't rush to avoid you. They allow overlap and adjust gradually. This is spatial confidence. They're not challenging you. They're observing your re-entry into a space they already feel safe in. They trust shared space. They expect safe movement. If you notice this, pause before asking them to move. Approach calmly or sit nearby first. Keeping the transition smooth preserves the ease of the interaction. Number 3, they leave once you settle somewhere else. You choose a different seat. You sit, shift, lean back, and within seconds, your cat lifts their head. The body follows. They stretch, step down from your old spot, and move in your direction. Sometimes directly, sometimes with a brief pause before settling nearby. The movement is quiet and precisely timed. It happens after you settle, not before. It's easy to assume they lost interest in the spot, that the warmth faded or something else drew them away. But the timing shows otherwise. They don't leave randomly. They leave once your new position stabilizes. The seat wasn't the anchor. Cats orient to stable reference points, especially ones tied to movement and presence. When that reference point shifts, their positioning shifts with it. This is reorientation. They're not choosing a place. They're aligning with you. You set the reference point. They follow your position. If you notice this pattern, stay in one place for a few minutes after sitting. That consistency gives them time to settle without needing to readjust. Once you start noticing this pattern, it becomes easier to see what they're actually following. If you've noticed your cat doing this, you're already paying closer attention than most, and that awareness makes a difference. Number 4, they choose your spot over better ones. There's a softer cushion nearby, a warmer patch of sunlight, a blanket they usually prefer. Yet your cat returns to your seat. They step onto it, pause, then lower themselves into the exact place you occupied. Sometimes they knead once or twice. Sometimes they curl, matching the shape left behind. They don't compare options. They go straight to yours. It's easy to assume the seat is simply more comfortable, but if comfort were the only factor, better options wouldn't be ignored so consistently. The draw is what remains. Cats are highly sensitive to scent and warmth, especially in places you've just left. That spot carries a strong trace of both. It stands out immediately. But this isn't just recognition, it's selection. They choose where your presence is strongest. You remain in that space, even after you leave. If you want to support this pattern, placing something that carries your scent nearby can give them a stable reference point without needing to follow you constantly. Number 5. They return to it when you're not there. You've been gone for a while. The room is quiet. Nothing has shifted recently. And your cat still returns to your usual seat. They step onto it without hesitation, turn once or twice, then settle into the exact area you occupy. Sometimes they sit upright briefly, scanning. Sometimes they curl and stay longer than they would elsewhere. There's no immediate trigger, no recent movement drawing them in. It's easy to read this as simple habit, a familiar place tied to routine. But the pattern is clearest when you're absent. That timing matters. When direct cues disappear, cats rely more on stable locations. A spot strongly associated with you becomes a reference point when everything else stays the same. This is spatial anchoring. They're not just resting, they're returning to a known presence. They use your space to stay oriented. If you notice this, keep your cat's environment consistent, especially your usual resting areas. Stability gives them a reliable point to return to when you're not there. Number 6. When they stop taking your seat. You stand up like usual. Same movement, same timing. But this time, your cat doesn't follow. They stay where they are, maybe lifting their head, watching briefly, then settling again without moving toward your spot. No quick approach, no circling into the seat. Sometimes they adjust where they already are. Sometimes they choose a nearby place, close but not exact. The pattern that once felt immediate becomes quiet. It's easy to read this as disinterest. It isn't. The absence of movement is the signal. When the environment feels stable, cats rely less on location-based tracking. Behavior becomes less reactive, more settled. Tracking is no longer necessary. This is environmental confidence. They're not following because they don't need to. Your presence isn't tied to a single location anymore. You're already integrated into their space. If you notice this shift, let it hold. Don't try to recreate the old pattern. This quieter response reflects stability that no longer needs reinforcement. At first, it looks like they're just taking your seat, but over time, the pattern shifts, and you start to see what they were actually following. Not the seat, not the warmth, not the habit, just you.